Hey everybody, Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. If you guys could subscribe, that'd mean a lot to me. If you could subscribe to the WQAM channel. We're now streaming live every single weekday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Silly Sauce with me and Leroy. It is flowing. It's flowing strong, everybody. Quite strong. So, as my guy Romberg, you say, strong to quite strong. We got that going on. Miami Heat getting themselves a victory over a Bucks team that did not have Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. He was sitting after they had a little back-to-back action, but no worries. The Miami Heat getting it done tonight. 108-102 to put themselves D-Wade over 500 for the first time this season. 3 over at 23-20. And I got to say, it was nice for Miami to have a pretty stress-free outside of that first quarter, which was atrocious. And I don't even know if we should speak of it. They were able to get themselves a nice victory, taking it on home against Milwaukee and getting themselves to a place where they haven't been all season. And a lot of this is due to Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent, a career high 28 points tonight. He was absolutely tremendous. And in that just start of the game, he was the one that not only kept it afloat, but really started bringing it back. He was a real jolt of lightning for Miami and a great bounce back game for him because, quite frankly, he was, turning the ball over willy-nilly like crazy against the Thunder the other night. And, he has this opportunity back-to-back games to really start for Kyle Lowry, who's been dealing with a knee injury. And he comes out in this game and he just looks absolutely tremendous. Some of the time, Gabe, when he has it going, dude, he's one of these guys. When he's got it going, he's got it going. The shot making is very impressive. He can get to some sweet spots. He can do some things with difficulty, and he can get on a real heater from downtown too. He was very, very impressive tonight, and you really needed him in just every facet of the game as far as, keeping you afloat, getting you back into it, and then just keeping that lead. It was critical, and he was critical the entire way around. And look, Kyle, who has been in a little bit of a slump-ski, even before the injury. I don't know if they coincide. I don't know if they have to do with it. I don't know if it has to do with Kyle Lowry pushing 37 years old. But you haven't gotten this out of the point guard position. You would look at a situation like tonight where, Jimmy was okay. He kind of closed things out there late with a couple of big buckets, but he was not tremendous offensively tonight. Bam was like your only, between health and production, Bam was really like your only main guy, your only star to really fill it up from both sides. So you needed some offensive punch. You do. And you needed something, even with that just deplorable start to the game where Miami just couldn't find it. 14 points in the first quarter. My God, I said I wasn't going to mention it, and I think I've mentioned it 4 times already. But either way, you needed it from somebody else, and it was critical that Gabe gives it to you, because if you have been getting a slow night, like how many nights can you have looked to the point guard and say, hey, Kyle, this might be the night we need to take over? It hasn't been often. It hasn't been frequent. So that was certainly a nice thing. And you hope that when Kyle does get healthy, that he's able to come in and provide the punch that you need. But Gabe was able to do that tonight in a huge, huge way. Speaking of Bam, I just have to say, man, coming off that wrist injury, dunking all over the place on the Milwaukee Bucks, a bunch of cowards. I'll at least give Joe Harris credit. He stayed in there like a good soldier, and he took that dunk right on his face. But these Bucks, I mean, they saw Bam coming down the lane, and they scurried like rats. Rats off a ship. They were out of there, dude. They had no interest. Look, Bam is just tremendous in every way. You guys know, if you listen to this channel, I think the world of the guy. The one thing I'll just say, if you haven't voted for him, Heat Nation, I am embarrassed to see the All-Star returns and to see this man not even in the top 10 of front court players. I understand this is a very stacked Eastern Conference in a lot of ways, and I'm not even suggesting that I was expecting him to be in the top 5. To not be in top 10 is a slap in the face, and you really got to do your best to keep promoting this guy. And whether it be all-star appearances or it be defensive player of the year vote, this man continues to be overlooked in every which way. And I don't really understand it. He has awesome dunks. He is a piranha on defense. He's literally you talk about the two-time MVP who sat tonight. There's nobody in the league who matches up better against Giannis than Bam. Nobody who gives Giannis Antetokounmpo more fits than Bam. And yet, it just seems like you can't get this off the ground, which is just so crazy to think about a guy who plays as hard as he does, who does some really badass dunks all the time, has had big-time playoff moments. To think that this guy is flying under the radar like this and can't outdraw guys like Nick Claxton or Kyle Kuzma, who, are nice. They're nice players. This is a league full of talent, but they're not this guy's level. They're not. And that's just the facts. And it's disappointing to see. And I really just hope that we get behind the Bam Payne. You go vote for him. All right. I really would love it if Chris Bosh could do what I requested, which is recreate that infamous commercial back when he was on the Raptors, just to get some type of social media buzz behind Bam and get this going. This guy deserves it. He deserves the recognition. And, tonight, you look at a matchup that's kind of, strangely, it was like a LeBron, Roy Hibbert type of thing. Brook Lopez is a guy who's given the Heat some fits, a giant-ass ostrich right there in the paint. And Bam just had it all working tonight, man. He had that beautiful floater that he has. He's just become so confident in that jump shot. And that was something that he didn't have in the series that they got swept against the Bucks. And I'm curious to see if they match up. And I know, look, this is not a true Bucks team, that you took on tonight. They don't have Giannis, Middleton still on the shelf. But, on the other side of it, Miami's not full strength either. They did not have Tyler Hero, one of their top scorers. They did not have their starting point guard. They did not have their starting power forward in Caleb Martin. So the Heat came into this quite banged up as well. That's what the league is. And, that's one of the things that I may have overreacted to what this week was going to be going into it because, I said that this was going to be a week that was the biggest test for the Heat. And, we really haven't quite gotten that barometer yet. I think that the Nets game kind of we're getting there, certainly. But then you lose KD, so you don't really have the full feel of it. OKC and the Heat, that was, it was a gutsy effort and a record night, but, that's certainly not a good measuring stick of what this Heat team is. And the same thing with tonight. Like, should be an exciting Eastern Conference matchup, and, you're missing a lot of the main players. It sucks. And so you're hopeful that maybe Saturday afternoon, maybe that'll be the time where we could get like a cool little measuring stick game for Miami and see where they're at. But I may have overblown what I thought this week was going to be, because if anything, I'll tell you what the test was that was passed. And that really was that, look, you got to take advantage of situations like this. Like Amy Audibert, new Heat television and radio analyst. I like Amy. She sells it like it is. And, a lot of the times this Heat franchise, they'll be like, you got to respect your opponent. Leroy will tell me this all the time. They got pros too. Blah, blah, blah. I like Amy because she just says it like it is, which is, Giannis is out. You got to take advantage of tonight. And yeah, you do. It's, you don't, you want to give respect to all opponents. I get it. That's the Heat line. But if the two-time MVP is out, you got to win that game, especially if you got your two best players out there. That's the way it is. You can't have a slip up. You got to take advantage. You got to get yourself to a place you haven't been before in 3 games over 500. So while the test isn't there as far as let's see where the Heat are. I was asking some of the guys in the locker room about this. Yeah, we got to see where we're at. The big thing tonight was, hey, this is a lineup where you have enough to beat a Bucks team without Giannis, and they did. And that's the thing that's encouraging about it. Vic continues to do a little bit of everything. Not like the cleanest offensive night for him, but still is even with it not being like the prettiest night for him, is still filling up the box score all over the place. I mean, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. Imprint on the game all over the place. He's just been such a spark plug for them. Really, really impressive. Jamal Cain was doing some good stuff tonight too. He had a big steal and get a bucket. Cain train. And yeah, and Jimmy, like, Jimmy didn't have a bad game. Don't get me wrong. Like, Jimmy came through and, provided those necessary buckets to really put it away at the end, salt it away, and get the win. You had a game against them tonight, even with Brook Lopez out there, where you're out rebounding them, by a great deal. You out rebounded them by 20 tonight. Max Strus had 12 and 10 today with the boards. You had, Vic with 8, but then you had Jimmy. He had 11 rebounds. Highsmith, 8 rebounds. Adebayo, 12 rebounds. Max Strus, 10 rebounds. So the boards were all over the place. The Heat were really getting after it on the glass tonight, and that was very important to get this one done, which they do. And the only other piece of news, a couple of things that are out there right now. So Dwayne Dedmon got suspended for a game. No surprise. I don't think he would have been suspended if it was just a verbal altercation. I think the Heat are cool with that. I think that we see this all the time where, a guy kicks a ball in the stands, he's going to get fined. You can't throw a massage gun that, was not far away from hitting Max Strus in the face. You have to suspend Dwayne Dedmon for that. I know what the comments are going to say. I know. But he was suspended. Not a surprise that decision came down. And, it was unfortunate what happened. Curious to see what he says about it the first time he talks about it, if he does talk about it. But this is where they're at. Other piece of news, Tyler Hero. Congratulations to the to Boy Wonder, the baby goat. Baby goat had a baby boy. Harlem Hero. Already sounds like a lottery pick. That dude is already on his way. Probably going to be the swaggiest baby you've ever seen. Just dripping swag all over the playgrounds. So Hero welcoming in a bundle of joy, and so did the Heat with a win. 3 games over 500, and they move on to Saturday with another one against these rat bastard Bucks.